Welcome back. Today we are jumping right in and doing a deep dive, literally, into one of the ocean's absolute weirdest and most wildly successful survivors. We're calling this explainer the jellywave jellyfish, and we're going to break down the mind-blowing facts and the incredibly diverse types of these mesmerizing gelatinous wonders. Okay, so take a look at this massive number. 500 million. That's a 5 with 8 zeros. That is how many years jellyfish have been drifting through our oceans. Just to put that into perspective for a second, they are older than the dinosaurs. They're actually even older than many types of trees on land. They have literally been floating around since the ancient seas first teemed with complex life. And we've got a fantastic roadmap for today's explainer. We'll be covering their origins as ancient aliens of the sea, their totally bizarre anatomy, the ocean's deadliest stingers, the rule breakers, the legendary immortal jellyfish, and finally, why these incredible creatures matter so much today. Let's get right into it.
Starting off with Section 1, Ancient Aliens of the Sea.
It's honestly hard to wrap your head around, but their simple drifting body plan has allowed them to survive five catastrophic mass extinction events that completely wiped out the dinosaurs and countless other species. When global temperatures were swinging wildly, or when the oceans literally turned toxic, the jellyfish, well, they just kept right on drifting. Their big secret is just a breathtakingly simple, low-energy design.
Which brings us right into Section 2, Anatomy of a Drifter.
So here is the really crazy thing about how they're built. Jellyfish are basically just highly organized water. Check out this breakdown. They are 95 to 98% liquid. This incredible composition is exactly what allows them to blend perfectly into their environment and float effortlessly with the ocean currents. They don't have to waste energy lugging around heavy structures. They just become one with the sea. But honestly, what's even more fascinating is what they don't have. Ready for this? No brain, no heart, no blood, no bones, not even lungs. Now, you might be wondering, how does an animal even function without a brain? Well, instead of a central brain, they rely on this super simple nerve net. It's just a delicate web of nerves that lets them sense light, vibration, and chemical cues to trigger basic fight or flight responses. They are living, breathing, well, not breathing, but you know what I mean, proof that you don't need complex hardware to win at evolution.
And their life cycle? It's straight out of a sci-fi novel. They don't just grow up, they shapeshift. They start out as this tiny, free-swimming larva called a planula. That larva then swims down and attaches to the seafloor, morphing into a stationary polyp that kind of looks like a tiny sea anemone. Get this, that polyp can actually clone itself asexually. Then, when the conditions are just right, it buds off into the free-swimming medusa, which is the classic floating jellyfish form we all recognize.
All right, moving on to Section 3. Let's talk about the ones you absolutely do not want to meet. The ocean's deadliest stingers.
Take a look at the notorious box jellyfish, specifically Chironex fleckeri. Notice that distinct cube-shaped body. It is armed with thick, bootlace-like tentacles that can stretch up to a terrifying 10 feet long. This creature packs the most potent venom of literally any marine animal. A bad encounter can be instantly fatal to humans. In fact, pretty much the only creature that just brushes these stings off is the leatherback sea turtle, which happily treats them as a quick snack.
So, how on earth do they deliver this deadly payload if they don't even have a brain to aim it? The secret weapon is nematocysts. These are microscopic, venom-filled harpoons packed by the absolute thousands into their tentacles. When something brushes against them, they just mechanically trigger, instantly firing a barb to paralyze the prey. It is an automatic, highly efficient weapon system custom designed to catch fast-moving fish for a slow-moving drifter. But hey, they aren't all deadly killers. That brings us to Section 4, rule breakers and harmless drifters. For instance, check out the absolutely beautiful moon jellyfish. It's got this totally translucent saucer-like body with these 4 really distinct horseshoe-shaped markings, and it just illuminates the water with this ethereal glow. They are globally widespread, and thankfully, their sting is generally harmless to us. It usually just causes a mild irritation. However, because they are so successful at surviving, you can get these huge population explosions called blooms or smacks that can seriously disrupt local ecology. They've even been known to clog up intake pipes at power plants. Now, here is where things get a little tricky. It's really important to note that a lot of the creatures we casually call jellyfish are actually total imposters. Take comb jellies, for example. Not true jellyfish at all, and they don't even have stinging cells.
And then there are siphonophores, which look exactly like jellyfish, but structurally, they are fundamentally different. Let me show you what I mean. A perfect example is the Portuguese man-o'-war. That highly venomous, blue, sail-like fluting terror? Yeah, not a true jellyfish. It's one of those siphonophores, which means it is not a single animal. It's actually a massive colony of highly specialized individual organisms called zooids, all working together as a single entity. Like one part acts as the sail, another part entirely handles digestion, and yet another operates the venomous tentacles. It is an absolute marvel of cooperative biology.
And then you've got the complete rebels of the true jelly world, like the upside-down jellyfish. While most jellyfish drift up near the surface, this one completely defies gravity to just settle on the seafloor. It rests on its bell and looks exactly like a soft coral. Why? Because it actually farms photosynthetic algae right inside its own tissues. By laying upside down in warm, shallow waters, it gives the algae maximum sunlight, and in return, the algae feed it nutrients. It's brilliant. Which brings us to section 5, and frankly, my favorite part of this whole explainer, the immortal jellyfish.
Just look at the incredible contrast here. On the left side, you have the majestic lion's mane jellyfish. It is an absolute giant. Its tentacles can stretch over 100 feet long. That's longer than a blue whale. But on the right is the immortal jellyfish. It's tiny, practically the size of a fingernail, measuring just 0.18 inches across. Yet this microscopic little drifter holds arguably the greatest secret in all of biology.
Scientifically, it's called Turritopsis dohrnii, but it's basically the Benjamin Button of the ocean. When this jellyfish faces severe stress, injury, or just plain old age, it can literally hit the reverse button on its own aging process. Its cells completely revert back to their earliest form, transforming the adult medusa back into a baby polyp on the seafloor. And from there, it just grows up all over again. It completely defies death, achieving what we call biological immortality.
All right, wrapping things up with section 6, why jellyfish matter today. So why should we care about what they're up to? Well, they actually have a massive dual impact on our world. Medically, they are total gold mines. They provided the green fluorescent protein, which literally won a Nobel Prize back in 2008, and completely revolutionized medical imaging because it lets scientists physically track cancer cells. Their venom is being heavily researched for next-generation pain meds, and jellyfish collagen is used all over the globe in cosmetics. Ecologically, though, they serve as crucial warning indicators. Because as oceans warm up due to climate change, and as overfishing wipes out their natural predators, jellyfish populations are absolutely booming. Those massive blooms we talked about, they act as blaring warning sirens for a stressed, changing ocean, because jellyfish adapt to warm, polluted waters better than almost anything else.
So I want to leave you with this final thought to ponder. We are looking at a creature made of 95% water with absolutely zero brain that survived 5 planetary mass extinctions and literally cracked the code for biological immortality. They were here long before us, and honestly, they'll probably be here long after. If a simple drifting blob of jelly holds that kind of incredible power, what other miraculous, game-changing discoveries are just waiting for us down there in the dark? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and remember to keep questioning what's beneath the surface.